Up now you are coming from ancient to medieval history. In ancient and medieval history, you are supposed to apply the same formula, because in modern history and slightly in the world history, the formula it can be a bit different. But in preparation of ancient history and medieval history, more or less the same formula is going to be applied. Divide medieval history in two parts first, Sultanate and Mughal. Then divide Sultanate period in different, you can say, sub-segments or sub-parts: political, economic, social and culture. Again, political part should be subdivided into two sub-parts: political expansion and administration. Then again the same formula: economy, agriculture, craft, industry, trade, money economy and urbanization. Social, the same formula will continue. Then you are moving from social to cultural, the same formula will continue. In social, the important thing and cultural is that this period is marked by the confrontation between the two cultures, two different cultures. So what you know, the composite culture of India, so that we develop at that time. Now very simple formula. You are moving from one topic to other topic. For example, political expansion. Once again you are going to apply the map. You are doing some additional work as well, because the first one question in first paper is the map question. And better to do the practice of map with the chapter itself. So that would be quite beneficial for you. So you have taken the first part, political expansion. You will start the story from Muhammad Ghori. Then you will cover Qutbuddin Aibak. Then you are coming to Iltutmish. After Iltutmish, Rajia. And after Rajia you are moving towards Balban. After Balban, Jalaluddin Khilji and Alauddin Khilji. And moving from Muhammad bin Tughlaq, then Firoz Shah Tughlaq, and finally your story is going to, you can say your preparation is going to end here up to Lodhis. Here my suggestion is, 5 to 6 rulers are very important for you from exam point of view. So you have to deal with the rulers in the political history itself. So leave it after finishing the 6 rulers, for example, Iltutmish, Rajia, Balban, Jalaluddin Khilji, Alauddin Khilji, Muhammad bin Tughlaq and Firoz Shah Tughlaq. So these rulers could have been a bit important for you, and you can expect some question from in the exam. But this part has been finished in political history only. Then you are moving to administration. So you can very well make a comparison between the earlier administrative structure and the administrative structure under Sultanate period. For example, you will observe the central administration. Earlier than that, it is better for you to give a look into the nature of state under Delhi Sultanate. So nature of state, the relationship between the religion and the state, central administration, the Ikta system of administration, the landowner system, up to the village administration, and you can very well make a comparative study with the earlier period as well. Means ki a very interesting thing. You have already finished the first one segment, which has started from Vedic period and you have reached up to early medieval age. Likewise, you have started now from Sultanate period. So you have started from Sultanate period, so you will try to link in the first segment, means up to the early medieval age with Sultanate period, so that you can very well identify what changes in political field after the advent of Turks. For example, after a long time the empire building, you might have heard about one thing, after Samudragupta and lastly you can say Harsha, the first ruler in North India which unified North India and tried to penetrate the region of South, so that was Alauddin Khilji, and he became the first one ruler after Samudragupta that crossed the Vindhyas. So it is not difficult for you, because just like you can say a movie, you are just observing the whole scene, which ruler conquered which part and what was the expansion of which ruler. So this is the political history, and political history is supposed to be the skeleton of history. If you have developed some knowledge about political history, then you will definitely gain more confidence, and you can very well deal with the 6 rulers. So that part would be finished. You are moving to administrative structure, so make a comparative study with the earlier period, and then you have observed the features of administration. Likewise, in society, earlier the society was vertically divided. Vertically divided means it was Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaisyas and Sudras. But now society came to be divided horizontally between Hindus and Muslims. So it was a unique thing. Hindus and Muslims, you will come to know that they just came together. Islam is having the very special characteristic, and even Hinduism. Hinduism is having the characteristic whatever differences and you can say whatever sects and subsects appeared in India, so Hinduism simply digested them within itself. So Hinduism became a vast ocean. When Islam came to India, so Islam was having its own track history. Whenever Islam moved, Islam uprooted the indigenous religion in the region and Islamized the whole region. So it was the reason whenever the Muslims went to the different parts of the world, and earlier they went there just as a minority community, but very soon they were converted into the majority one. But the case of India is quite different. The Muslims came here as a minority community and they remained here minority due to the fact that in India they could not make the conversion on massive scale. Means the conversion on massive scale was not, you can say, possible in India. What was the reason behind that? Because the Hinduism was so much entrenched in India, Islam could not uproot it. But living together for thousands of years, gradually they developed composite culture, and that is known as Gangi Jamni culture. So you will observe this Gangi Jamni culture in the society of Sultanate, culture of Sultanate, and then you are moving to Mughal, same formula you are going to adopt. Your story ends here in political history up to Lodi, means Ibrahim Lodi, and that story starts from Babur. So you have covered Babur, then you have covered you can say Humayun, and then there is some interlude of the period of Sher Shah. After crossing the Sher Shah, because you will just here take the idea of the Sher Shah completely, then you are moving to Akbar, then you are moving to Jahangir, Shah Jahan, Aurangzeb. So political history would be clear, and it was in course of the study of political history, you have been clear even about the achievements of different rulers during this period. Then you are moving to administration. So you have stopped the study of administration under Delhi Sultanate. So you will start from there. What was the nature of state under Mughals? Whether you find some more secularization there or not, then you are just observing the composition of central administration under Mughals, and you will compare it with that of Sultanate. So that will be clear. Then you are moving towards economy. So what was the achievements of the economy under Delhi Sultanate? What were the changes under Mughals? So that will be clear. So likewise in society, if there was the development of composite culture in India, so that will be encouraged further under Mughals, under the Bhakti and Sufi and the policy of Akbar. Likewise in field of art and architecture, you will observe the architecture under Sultanate period, then under Mughal period. You will observe the literature under Sultanate period, then under Mughal period. So you are making the integrated approach here. Now up to Mughal period you are clear. You can start from prehistory and come up to Mughal period, and whenever you will deal with the modern period, so then you can develop the same formula in modern itself, which I will discuss with you later. Then the second one issue is the issue of historiography here. Even during Mughal period you will find the question of historiography. There are the different schools which existed for the study of Mughal period, and these schools were the first one, you can say, that was called Imperialist school. Sir Jadnath Sarkar, Alfiston, Smith, they belong to this school, and they were having their own perception. The perception has been now too much outworn and outdated. Then comes the turn of nationalist historiography, nationalist school. So nationalist school is subdivided into two subgroups, the, you can say, communalist group and the secular group. Then you are just moving towards the third one school, that is Marxist nationalist school. And this school was led earlier was Aligarh School of Historiography, but even other historians and other scholars are associated with the school. For example, you can take Satish Chandra, that is outside from this school. For example, Harvansh Mukhia from JNU. So you will find a large number of such scholars who are not directly associated with Aligarh School, but still they were writing under the Marxist influence. Then recently you can say that is called Revisionist School. You might have heard the name of Sanjay Surmanyam, Chetan Singh, Muzaffar Alam. So they have given a different type of analysis to the history, and this school is going to be widely accepted now. Earlier you can say about the study of the Mughal, the decline of Mughal was supposed to be a crisis in history, but now these historians have proved that it was not a crisis, rather it was the beginning of a new era. So now the first half of 18th century, that is supposed to be earlier the dark age, and Sir Jadnath Sarkar had exclusively characterized this period as the dark age, but now this age is supposed to represent the new sorts of, you can say, strength, and it was imbued with the new sort of potentiality. So the whole perception about the 18th century has presently changed. So you will stop here up to the second half of 18th century, and you will start up to the first half of 18th century, and you will start modern history from second half of 18th century. So at the point you will stop Mughal, you will start with the British. But in 18th century it is very difficult to divide, because in 18th century the Mughals were making the claim, and on 18th century even the British are making the claim. British historians try to prove that the first half of the first half of 18th century was the dark age, but during the second half the British here became the harbinger of a revolution that was called Palasi Revolution, and it resulted into modernization of India. But now this view has been rejected by the latest historiography, but we will discuss about the modern age in the next one lecture. So thank you very much. I will see you later.